So we've done area model for integer multiplication, and today we're going to learn how to use that same model for integer division. Remember, multiplication and division are inverse operations, so they're like working backwards from each other. So just some vocabulary before we get started. Here's an example problem, 12 divided by -3. In the division problem above, 12 is the dividend. And -3 is called the divisor. So we want to be able to talk about these numbers with their mathematical vocabulary. The answer to this division problem is called the quotient. Remember, an answer to a multiplication problem is called product. Answer to a division problem is called quotient. So we've learned to use the area model for multiplication already. Using the area model for division is just like working backwards. For 12 divided by -3, we're asking the question, what is the width of a rectangle with an area of 12 and a side length of -3? So we're going to have to use those same quadrants, but we're basically going to be building a rectangle of 12 with a side length of -3. So the first step is to show the divisor on the factor track as the side length, right? Because we're talking about a side length of -3, right? So the second step is to show the dividend as a rectangle on the area mat. Make sure you check your sign. So always, this is a habit to get into, checking the sign. The rectangle should have a side length that is the same as the divisor. So when you build that rectangle, make sure it matches up with the side length of the divisor. So step 3, you need to answer the question, what is the width of my rectangle? This is the quotient. So whatever the width of that rectangle that you build is, that's your quotient. That's the missing side, right? So let's do the example that we've been talking about. Let's follow these steps for the example we're talking about. 12 divided by -3. So the first thing we need to notice is that 12 is positive. So we're going to have to, well, actually first step is to show the divisor on the factor track, right? So we're going to have to choose. We can either put the divisor here or here, your choice, right? So let's start with that. I'll go ahead and put the divisor here as the side length, right? So -3, side length of -3. Okay, but now we have 12, positive 12. So the second step, remember, second step is so we put the divisor on the factor track as the side length. Now we need to show the dividend as a rectangle on the area mat, and make sure you check your sign. So the dividend here is positive 12. So we need to put positive 12, and that means we're going to be working down here in the positive side, right? We have to choose between negative or positive, so we got positive. So we're going to be working down here in this quadrant. We need to make a rectangle of positive 12. So, and we need to have it, the side length needs to be the same as the divisor. So I need to be arranging this rectangle so that it is 3 long, right? So there's 9, 10, 11, 12. So here we've modeled 12 divided into a side length of -3. So what's the missing width? That's really what we're asking for. What's missing over here? What factor is over here that would make this rectangle. And if you look, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 long, and it's on the negative. So we would need -4 to finish this out, right? To complete this. So it's just like we're working backwards from yesterday. So this right here is my quotient, -4. So 12 divided by -3 equals -4. Second example, -15 divided by -5. So again, we're going to start with our divisor. It's a negative number, and we need to make that as a side length on the factor track. So we're going to put -5 as a negative on the factor track, right? But then we said -15 is the dividend, right? -15 divided by -5. So we need to make a rectangle of -15 squares. And we're paying attention to our sign, so that means we need to build a rectangle in here with negative tiles, right? So, and it needs to have the same side length. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to be building the rectangle, so I put down 5, 10, 15. So now I put down 15 tiles on the area mat. So this here is my rectangle, right? Remember, we don't count these. These are the factors. That's the factor track with the divisor. So we've got 15 on the area mat in a rectangle. We've got a side length of -5. So the question is, what's the missing width? And here we've got 1, 2, 3 in the positive factor track. So 1, 2, 3 positives. So our quotient is +3. -15 divided by -5 is +3.